Dahl and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets, and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Practice number 6, numero 6, earlier today, second day in pads, and I suppose we're not here to talk about injuries, so we'll talk about all the better stuff that we saw versus injuries.
I thought another great practice. You know, it was physical.
If you're a defensive player, it was a great practice.
Yeah, it was a great practice, but it was physical. The offense had their moments, but more defensive moments, of course. There were a lot of sacks, it looked like. Obviously the pick wasn't good, but he would have been sacked. You and I were talking about that, Trevor. BJ Green put it. It was so funny because right before that, I was standing next to Matt Hayes. I was like, out of the 4 young pass rushers, nobody's really standing out. And then the next play, swing right around Anton and for a sack for BJ Green the second. And then, they're not going to touch him in. Trev tries to extend it. So, Trevor was off a little bit. He's got a sleeve on his arm. I'm assuming he's just a little tired or a little sore or whatnot. They threw the ball a lot yesterday, so maybe that's the case. Nothing to be alarmed about. But, again, I think they're stacking good practices. I mean, they're physical up front. I thought Tootin looked good at times. That we were on the other field, but you could see that one red zone touchdown. He broke through a little bit. I thought he looked good. I thought overall, the offensive line and D-line were getting after it. No Eric Armstead having a day off. No Chris Rodriguez Jr. either having another day off. But, I don't know. Not every practice is going to be beautiful for the offense. And that's okay because you want the defense to win too.
Right.
Now, granted, I clap. Most of the time I clap when it's offensive big plays. But I do clap when the defense has a big play from occasion as well.
Well, you also don't get to see sacks.
Yeah, right.
So
Exactly.
You're like, woo, almost sack.
Exactly. But, listen, I thought I watched on the one-on-ones. Today I went over to the second teamers where they were. So I watched Pregnon a little bit. I watched Regis a little bit. I don't see that much out of Regis yet. Now, a row, I see some good things out of. I think he's going to be a nice pass rush and defensive tackle and somebody that's big and stout enough for the run. I will say, and I don't think I've said this before, I wasn't too far from the D-line, and Devon Hamilton is absolutely gigantic.
Yeah, he's
his
massive.
arms, he always wears sleeves, so he doesn't show off his arms. His arms are jacked. And then I'm like, man, he really is a big son of a gun. And then I look down, and I'm like, man, his lower half is massive. He's just a mess. And then he was doing his drill. He's trying to help those younger defensive tackle out on how to extend your, either inside arm or outside arm, whichever gap you have, how to lock it out. But while he was doing it, he was showing these little moves, and you're like, man, he's really quick. So anyway, he looks really good. I think our D-line, if they can stay healthy, we're going to have a good defensive line. I know I've said that year after year, and then it doesn't happen. But, man, they just look the part. They look like they got something going. I think they found their interior guy for an additional pass rusher in Rook. And then I think it's BJ Green, but it's too early to tell. I haven't seen much out of Wes Williams. I don't know if you guys have seen anything. Durfee, I've seen a couple things, but nothing. You know what I mean? And maybe later, I text you guys, we could, who has stood out, But if Row is the guy that is, you're like, yeah, he's got something there, So I think overall it's been good. Look, it's funny. I was listening to the boys on the way in, and Matt's like, do you tone it down before you hit? And Coach is like, what are you talking about? They're practicing like an hour and 10 minutes, with hitting each other. Yeah, you got to go for it.
Go all in, yeah.
I think you got to keep going hard for a couple more times, and then you can ease into it and get ready for the joints with New Orleans.
Yeah, the day off tomorrow is good for them, especially the ones who might have tweaked things. We did see linebacker Jared Bartlett carted off. I'm hoping that he's okay.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
That was a scary moment, certainly at practice.
Yeah, it was. That's one of the moments, like music off. All the players down on one knee, always scary. Never want to see the cart come out. So I do hope he's okay. It's unfortunate. Just on Sunday, he found out he was going to be added to this roster, and so you get a little glimpse. I was talking to Jordan DeLugo out there. He said that it sounded like from talking to some of the coaches and the other coaching staff that they liked him and just the small bit that they've seen him so far. So that's unfortunate. You never want to see somebody go down.
And Jack Kaiser already we saw go down in the first practice, and so
and then a player retired. So it's 3 roster spots that you're figuring out.
Yeah, Bartlett made a couple tackles yesterday, like they were going to be tackles.
Yeah.
He was reading good. He's coming up. He looks the part. I tell you, who's having an outstanding camp is
Branson Combs.
Man, he's good. I want to see him against the run a little bit more because I felt like last year he got blocked a little too much, but that could be being a robot, like wanting to be in the right spot. A lot of times, like, you may have the B gap, but if the ball's inside, you don't go hit the guard. You say, forget you, I'm going to the, you know what I mean? It did feel like he was playing, like, freely. You see him during camp so far, like, he's shooting gaps.
Yeah.
He's making linemen miss and making plays.
Pass breakups.
Really good in the pass game.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid can run. I tell you what, I threw this at a couple guys today. I may as well throw it at you.
Sure.
Why not? Now, I'm not saying they do this, and to be honest, my answer is no. But just thinking, what if you can't keep Branson Combs off the field? And what if you can't keep Ventrell Miller off the field? By the way, nickel, it's been those two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dime, it's been Branson. Now, that doesn't mean that they're taking over. They could just be giving Foye a rest.
They are definitely giving Foye a rest.
They know what's going on.
Yeah.
But hypothetically,
Sure.
could you move on from Foye if you can't keep Branson Combs off the football field? Could you move on from him? I say no this year, just for the record.
This year,
One more year, I'd like him here. But you got to start thinking, are these the guys that are going to replace him?
Well, and we thought, Taylor, that Jack Kaiser would be the one to eventually replace Foye Luakin, and then there would be that battle for weak side linebacker between Ventrell and Branson, and then who knows how they're going to go about that. As far as Ventrell better in the run game maybe than Branson, like Tom was just saying. But yeah, maybe Branson Combs is someone that can be the actual Mike linebacker, and then you've got Branson and Ventrell on the field at the same time.
Yeah, I was looking. I love Kaiser. He's a Notre Dame guy, obviously, but I was never in full belief that he was going to be the main guy, even at Notre Dame. And he played a very pivotal role throughout his time there. He was there 5 years in college, so you had a lot of reps at Notre Dame. But they moved him all over the place. He was more so that guy that you knew he was versatile, and so when you needed him, he could play wherever, and you'd switch him around. But I never got that feeling that he was going to be able to be that main number one linebacker at the next level. Somebody gets injured, Jack Kaiser can come in and pretty much play where you need him to play, whatever linebacking position you need him to. I just wasn't sure if he was going to be able to take that next step and be the main guy. And so I like that we're seeing somebody come in that I do feel like, and I hope like Kaiser's okay and comes back and still can play the role, because he is very versatile. He has the leadership side of what he can do, the work ethic, all of those things match exactly what this regime especially want on the football field. But if you have somebody like a Branson Combs that comes in and you're talking about the potential of having your future at that position, and then yes, the conversation with the Ventrell Miller, for example, and what that looks like. If you have those two young guys and you're building your future linebackers in that sense, and then you also have somebody behind them like a Kaiser and some of these other guys, we don't know, Parker Hughes, whoever comes in, and he's young too, and what we see out of him. Gardeck, obviously, we've talked a lot, and how they're going to use him, we don't know. But I do think if that is a very positive thing for me, because the linebacker position clearly was one of the biggest conversation points in this offseason. So if you have someone like a Branson that comes in and is already, we're having conversations where it's like, man, like he could play the role of a Foye Luakin eventually if you need to, then I think that's awesome if they hit on that.
Well, look, if you're in base, 30% of the time. The other times you're nickel or dime. So your best cover guys are going to be out there. If it is those two, it'll be those two. You know what I mean? And then you with your base. I think Kaiser's more of a base middle backer.
Yeah.
I think he'd probably come off the field on nickel and dime. Not to say he can't cover, but I think the other guys can. You really got to be able to run. And you see how Combs can run in coverage. Like, you see how that just adds to the game and to the defense. You know what I mean? Like a linebacker that can really run and cover and still be stout again. I mean, that's an impressive combination. I'm not saying he can replace Lloyd or anything like that. He's going to be, but he does look like he's had a really, really good camp so far. And Combs, look, he's big enough to play middle, and he's fast enough to play Will. I think Gardeck's going to, him and Abdullah and McLeod will fight out for the Sam. And base, right? And then you'll decide when you use Gardeck and Russian the passer. I don't think he'll be a cover backer. But look, with the way the offenses are today, they love getting in a nickel, trying to get you mismatch. If your guys can cover and are stout against the run, because that's, look, when you go nickel, you're susceptible to giving up the run.
Sure.
Unless you go big nickel and the safety comes down and then you got 7. But when you got 6 in the box and they've got 6, they normally if they get a hat on a hat, I mean, it's literally you got to whack the lineman, knock him flat on his ass, and then go make the tackle. Very hard to do when they're coming up up on you with no, extra guy to push it to or to funnel it through. You know what I mean? So you got to have those kind of backers, and if they do with those two, who knows? That could be very, very interesting. But I thought, speaking of standing out, number 50 and 51, both. And look, Galuik has had a good camp.
He's just not on the field as much as we're used to.
Right.
So that's the other thing is how many of these plays would Foye be making also? Because Foye's obviously very well versed with this offense. Mm-hmm. And so he also might be making some of those pass breakups. But
if they can cover better than him, they're going to play ahead of him. In nickel.
Yeah, in nickel, right, yeah.
In nickel. And maybe dime, but maybe they can. I'm not saying they can.
Sure.
But if it works out to that, that's when you start thinking, well, you're not going to keep – I mean, you are for the year, don't get me wrong, but you're not going to pay a guy what they pay him just to play our base middle backer.
Yeah, I haven't seen Foye have that game where I thought, you know what? He is getting to that point where he's a little slower than what we used to see.
He's not slow.
Seen it out of him whatsoever.
He's not. But I'm just saying, but if they can cover better, they will see the field.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, especially.
I'm not saying they can, but if they can.
The way that teams like to play nowadays as well. Yeah, like you said. Look, I think Branson Combs has stood out tremendously to everyone who's been at Jags practice, and Ventrell also is having a good camp too. Yeah. The question then becomes, if Jack Kaiser isn't able to return in training camp, do they bring in another linebacker at this point in time? Because, yes, Foye Oluokun, I think, is still the middle linebacker, but certainly we're going to see the competition continue through camp. But, yeah, my concern is after you had Jared Bartlett, a linebacker, go down today, was carted off. You already had Kaiser with potentially some sort of injury there. So that is my concern for the linebacking core.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they do bring someone in just to be safe. And by the way, I still think the pecking order is Oluokun's the number one. Yeah. I think Ventrell is number two. And the only reason I say that is today when they went second team nickel, it was Combs and Hughes, and Ventrell went off. So normally that means he's ahead of Combs in that regard.
What I found interesting, today was they had Ventrell and Branson out there with the ones and the twos. Like certain players would, like Milam would run with both. The ones and the twos. Yeah. And so it's interesting. Certain guys are getting the extra reps, which certainly that's a good thing. Again, with Foye Oluokun being able to take some snaps off and have some vet rest, just not a full vet rest day like Eric Armstead did.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get more into the Jaguars, but I do have an update. Carson Beck will start Thursday night for the Arizona Cardinals against the Carolina Panthers.
Go
up
Mustangs.
there. Yeah, up there at Canton, Ohio.
I thought I read, was it yesterday
JP
came out?
Shadrick calling the game.
Yeah,
he actually won't yet because he'll still be here.
I was like, that's a quick turnaround, but
next
James Gladstone did it.
That's true. Yeah, for people who missed it, JP Shadrick, who's been the senior reporter with the Jaguars for a long time, 14 years, senior correspondent, he is now going to be the play-by-play voice of the Arizona Cardinals.
Congrats, JP.
Yeah,
he's great. He's cool, dude.
Round of applause is right, RJ. But so he'll be with the Jaguars until Friday is his last day, is what he posted. And then obviously the very next game, I would imagine, because Dave Pasch, who's been the voice, is now full-time with ESPN. But Carson Beck gets to start the Hall of Fame game. I think that adds extra intrigue for us, even though we'll watch it regardless, at least the first half. I still feel like that's extra.
Yeah. It sounds like he's been coming along okay recently, at least from what I think I saw it yesterday or earlier today, this morning, that he had a couple good days at recent practices. Good for him. Hey, man, the third round pick. I want to see what you got.
Maybe Devin Lloyd will pick him off if Devin Lloyd plays, which when you have 4 preseason games, you typically don't have a lot of the starters play in that first
especially
game.
The Hall of Fame game.
It's
just straight up like not happened. Remember the one? It was like halftime. They're like, we're just not going to finish the game.
I didn't think that the Jags game was going to get in because of all the rain and
the
lightning.
weather that time.
Yeah, we were delayed for, I feel like it was like an hour and a half, and I was like, just cancel it.
We don't need it.
I'm over this.
We played in the Hall of Fame game in '95.
Yeah, that's right.
Against Carolina.
Yeah.
I had a tackle on punt. It was a good day. Good day. That's all I had. It was a good day, I think.
Love it.
Yeah, first one.
Also, by the way, Tristan Cullen, one of the offensive linemen, Taylor mentioned there was a player that retired earlier. So, he was placed on the reserve/retired list. All right, so we'll keep talking Jaguars. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
A PGA voice.
Joe Coward.
A national writer.
Matt Hayes.
A Jaguars legend.
Leon Searcy.
One table, one big show.
XL Prime Time.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Joint replacement surgery is always a tough decision, but relief from chronic pain may be just around the corner. Dr. George Barra here, and there's a lot to consider to make sure you get the proper diagnosis and best path back to the range of motion and mobility you had. Age, lifestyle, and overall health all play a part. Let the team at Barra Orthopedics give you a full analysis to help you make the best decision. Log on to barriorthopedics.com or call the office to make an appointment. With offices across Jacksonville and ready to help you feel good again, we'll get you back on the road to recovery at Barra Orthopedics.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
Hey, Tom McManus here for John's Pest Solution. This time of year means football, no doubt, but also means pests are wreaking havoc, both in your yard and in your house. Trust the people that I trust. I know John personally is a great guy who runs a great business. John's Pest Solutions. It'll solve all your pesky pest issues. From scary spiders, annoying gnats, to maddening mosquitoes, John's Pest Solutions will treat your lawn and your house so you can stop scratching and killing bugs and focus on the game at hand. Visit johnspestsolutions.com today. That's johnspestsolutions.com.
Believe it or not, back to school is just around the corner. Before the schedules fill up, the lunches get packed, and life gets hectic again, take care of one thing you've been putting off: your home's plumbing. That dripping faucet, slow drain, or running toilet isn't going to fix itself. Schedule any plumbing service with Duck Rooter this month, and we'll include a free water heater inspection at no additional charge. Cross one more thing off your back-to-school checklist. When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Like many football fans in Jacksonville, I love defense. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett, and I'm here to tell you that defense in the courtroom is important as well. That's because penalties for DUI are much more serious than penalties on the gridiron. If you or someone you know is facing a DUI, call us for a free case analysis now. Know before you blow. 858-9818. Put my more than 20 years of experience to work for you. Office is Jacksonville, serving all surrounding counties. Call 858-9818 or go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
If you missed it, get it on demand.
And you send those out on the line.
Find your 1010XL favorites where you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com. Channel 5. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Frank Frangie here for my friends at Coil Fencing. You've heard me talk about our Bregan baseball complex with walk-off charities and we needed a batter's eye. Nobody knew how to do it. Coil figured it out, and it is great. Since then, Coil & Sons has completed hundreds of projects, including most recently our football fields at Fort Family Park. The bottom line is they do everything. They do it well. It looks great. I trust Coil & Sons. You can too. Since 1927, they've been getting it right. CoilJacks.com. COYLE Jacks.com. That's where you find them. A proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. We have some updated practice times. So for the fans that are going out to Friday's practice, that is going to be the teal and white mock game. So basically I would say maybe a lighter version of a scrimmage, so to speak. That will be 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So the practice time did change. I know a lot of fans are excited about that teal and white mock game. And then Saturday's now just a walkthrough, 11 to 11:45 a.m. So a little bit of adjusted.
A little change. I did want to, we had somebody on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures ask who was carted off. So if you got in the car and you only heard us talking about the cart, just wanted to update it. It was linebacker Jared Bartlett, who the Jaguars had just signed over the weekend on Sunday. So just in case you missed the name, I know sometimes you hear the tail end of something and you're like, oh no, what did I miss? So
I saw that text.
Just updating that.
I made sure I said it again in that segment to be on the safe side. But yeah, if you all have any questions for us, 904-641-1010, hit us up on the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Now let's find out what Tom is thinking.
Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Or dial #law. That's all.
Yeah, my take today on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon is it's good to be Zay Flowers. My goodness, he becomes the highest paid wide receiver in Baltimore Ravens history. 4-year, $140 million extension, includes $108 million in guaranteed money. Both records for a Ravens wide receiver. His average now of $35 million per year ties him with Justin Jefferson as the NFL's fourth highest paid wide receiver. No, he's not the fourth best wide receiver in the National Football League, but he is truly valued. I like it because two things. One, he's a Boston College alum, and he was great for the Eagles, but even more so, when he was going to be his last year, it was just when the portal started, they tried to get him. Someone tried to poach him for big money, like $800. Now, his story is he's like the oldest of 13 children, and his mom and dad aren't there anymore, I don't think. I think they both passed. So he was like the caretaker for a lot of years. He could have very easily jumped and went. Granted, they took care of him at BC. Yeah. There's no doubt about it, but he stuck to Boston College. And you know why he said? He said, because after football is why I'm staying here at Boston College, because this degree will take me a far way. But, man, you're not going to need it now with $140 million. Congratulations to him and to all his siblings, because I'm sure there'll be some trickle-down effect, as there should. That is a fantastic deal for Zay Flowers, and I like him as a dude and as a player as well. And that's my take, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, ForThePeople.com.
Looks like his dad is still alive, Willie Flowers, and then his mom passed away from a tragic head injury in 2005 when Zay was just 5 years old. He is the 11th of 14 children.
14.
So he's one of the later
the younger
ones.
kids.
So yeah, I'm sure the dad and a lot of those older kids had to help a lot. But yeah, obviously the moment I saw that news earlier, I was like, I wonder if Parker Washington got that notification, and he's like, hey, if you can do it, I can do it. By the way, Zay Flowers had over 1,200 receiving yards last year. That accounted for 36.9% of the Ravens' receiving yards.
Yeah, he's a beast. There's no doubt about it. It's funny, you bring up Parker, they're a little similar, stature. Right. I think Zay's maybe a little smaller overall, but very, very quick, very electric. Yeah.
14 yards of reception was his number, and then 5 touchdowns. So it back-to-back years with over 1,000. And I think that even last year, maybe even more impressive because Lamar didn't play. Yeah. He was injured. And so, I mean, credit to that, because you saw even in, let's say, Minnesota, for example, Justin Jefferson didn't have nearly the year you would expect when the quarterback's not there and you don't have your QB down. So being able to have even technically your best career season in the NFL without your quarterback being there for the majority of the year is good. But yeah, he's one of those guys where almost I feel like there was probably some people who saw that and was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. What has he done? And then went and Googled and was like, oh, he had 1,200 yards. Like it was almost under the radar, 1,200 yards for Zay last year, to be honest.
Yeah, and look, the rankings move. Next thing you know, he'll be like 8th, because there'll be new money going to different wide receivers and all that. I think with Zay, all you got to do is get the ball in his hands. So it's not like, you're going to line him up outside, one-on-one, go deep. It's more like get him in motion, get him on a crossing route, get a little rub going, get him one-on-one, and just let him take care of the rest. That's the kind of ball player he is. So, yeah, I mean, listen, his numbers back it up. But as a true wide receiver, I don't think he'd come in number 4, is what I was saying. So congrats to him for getting paid like it. That's fantastic.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, by the way, accounted for over 44% of the receiving yards for Seattle, 44.1% last season. Yeah, so he is the highest paid at $42.15 million. Jamar Chase over $40 million. Drake London $35.25 million. That one is so crazy considering they also just paid Bijan Robinson
a lot of
today. A ton of money, highest paid running back. And then, like you mentioned, Zay Flowers tied with Justin Jefferson at $35 million, and then CeeDee Lamb $34 million.
Yeah.
There's a few other guys you would put ahead of Zay Flowers, but you know what?
Not
The
too many.
Ravens, the Ravens recognized that how important he is for their teams.
Their value.
Absolutely, in their
That's
offense for sure. All right, so let's get it back to the Jacksonville Jaguars when it comes to players that have stood out. We just spent basically the whole first segment talking about the linebackers. Taylor, I feel like we could spend another whole segment talking about the secondary.
Yeah.
Between Jarian Jones and Antonio Johnson and Eric Murray, all three of whom had picks today. Only one off of Trevor. Nick Mullins, a little bit of a tough day. But look, every time we go out there, they are making plays. And I feel like Caleb Bransaw's maybe a little bit behind that group.
Yeah.
Jalen Husky a little bit behind even Caleb Bransaw. But those top guys, it is impressive to watch them work.
Yeah, and it's really fun, and that's why I almost joked earlier.
Too.
Jordan Lewis, I almost joked earlier because 2 years ago I made that bold take that the Jags were going to have one of the best defensive lines in the league because Eric Armstead comes in here. You obviously have Josh Hines-Allen and Travon, and I was like, man, I don't know how you're going to be able to stop this defensive line, and it ended up being one of the worst defensive lines. Granted, a lot of that was Ryan Nielsen and all the paying in wrong positions, and there was a lot of craziness. So I'm not going to say that again until they show me because I burned myself a couple years ago. But the secondary is something that I've been just very intrigued by the last few years because I do feel like there's guys in that back end that I really like. And obviously you add Travis Hunter and then Jordan Lewis and what he did last year. You just paid Buster Brown. You go and get even guys like Jalen Husky and Caleb Bransaw, who we didn't get to see during the season last year. There's just so many pieces that I feel like if you stay healthy and all of these click, it can be a really good secondary. We saw last year with the picks, and that's fantastic. I think that you expect still a lot of picks this year. Do you have 30, 31? I don't know. It's
total
really hard.
takeaways,
Takeaways. It's really hard to duplicate that. We've seen it multiple years where a team kind of skyrockets in that number, and then you see it decrease. It doesn't mean all of a sudden they have 10. I'm not saying that. But I think what you also want, some of that sometimes is quarterbacks, and if they feel like they can target you, they throw at you, and that's where some of those picks come from. And so if Travis Hunter doesn't have a ton of picks, then they're probably avoiding Travis Hunter because they don't want to throw at him too much. So there are these give and takes in that, but they're making plays everywhere. I was watching one of the drills today, and they had linebackers versus running backs, and then it would be the certain DBs and safeties against the tight ends, the tight ends. And DB's won almost every single rep against the tight ends today, and I'm not trying to freak out and crap on the tight ends because we've seen Cozy play really good through camp. Obviously, we know what Brenton Strange can do, so I think there's a lot of good pieces there. We've seen Hunter Long make some plays throughout camp so far too, but that just to me shows how good they are. They're playing so sticky; it feels like they're just up against every single tight end, every single pass catcher throughout camp, and that's really exciting for me because I do think that was one thing last year. We keep going back to that Buffalo game, and how many times on this show have we been like, look, we know Trevor threw a couple picks and you didn't run the ball in the second half, but the defense let Josh Allen score every time he had the ball in his hands. And at some point, you don't want that to happen. If this secondary, after what we're talking about, how the pass rush looks like it should improve, you already have a good run defense. We knew that from last year. And if you're telling me now you can play that sticky and you can lock down multiple receivers in a game and not allow some of those explosive plays that we saw against the JSN and some of those guys last year that really kind of hurt you in those games that you did lose, that's huge. I mean, that's massive to me. It's one of the biggest takeaways for me at camp if we're going into week one saying this could be one of the better secondaries, and they've improved a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Jarian has proven once again he can play corner.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought he could play corner. He could play inside, he could play outside. Gives you some flexibility. Maybe there's a week where, Travis might not play as much corner for whatever reason. You're comfortable saying, well, Jarian can definitely play out there. He's had a fantastic camp.
Jordan Lewis, by the way, said Jarian Jones will be one of the best corners.
Yeah,
in
he
all
did.
Of football
That's right.
yesterday.
I saw that.
So that's impressive.
Yeah, Jordan's been impressive. Monteric's had his moments. I know he had a little struggle one-on-one against BT yesterday, but
basically his ankles were broken.
The advantage is the offense.
Same.
The advantage is the offense in those. But it's nice to hear that the safeties were doing well against the tight ends. It's still. One-on-ones only tell a little bit, but they do tell that, look, if you're on your coverage, you can cover somebody. Look, at the end of the day, I think they're all fighting for that starting job. I mean, don't count out any of these guys. I think Antonio's my guy. He has been, but Eric Murray's having a real good camp.
By the way,
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He did. He had a nice pick today.
DBs.
He had a nice pick. He read
Jalen
it well.
Husky has looked. There's
Husky's
been several
made some
moments
plays
for
today
Husky
too.
for me.
Yep. Devon Marshall's made some plays. Now he won't crack the starting lineup, I don't think, but maybe he can get it done on special teams. Rand Lane had a couple moments, So overall, I think our DBs.
Preston Hodge.
Yeah, Preston Hodge has had a couple things.
Camp did get after
trouble
him
today.
He, he didn't do exactly what he was supposed to do, but I'm sure that they'll get that corrected.
Yeah, Muhammad, it's funny. Muhammad's still making plays, but not as many.
Not as many with the pads on.
With the pads on. It's only been a couple days. But I think with Ransaw, it's got to be eaten at him. Like, you can't get run over by the running back.
Right. Yeah.
When you come up to make that tackle, and maybe you didn't think it was going to be that full. I give him that. His first day, you don't really get a feel maybe, but he has got to be able to hit that back and make sure that he don't go nowhere if you're going to come up and make that stick. He'll get another crack at it, I'm sure. But that's the only thing with it. Other than that, he looks great. He can cover. He can run. He can blitz. So, yeah, look, it's funny. We see these guys every day. They do look like a legit contender. I got to give them that. I think if we went to different AFC teams, we'd be feeling the same kind of thing. If we were there for enough period of time where you're like, okay, these guys are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
That's what makes it exciting. And that's what makes us going to be making us road tested and tested, because the AFC is going to be hard. There's going to be 7 or 8 teams that are legit. Now, granted, only 7 get in. You know what I mean? So you got to be top 7. You don't have to be top 1. But there's going to be, based on, and again, injuries, ball bounces, things, you just never know. But there's some legit teams for the AFC coming up in 26, I think.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall at camp at the Titans or the Texans, like some of those incredible defensive linemen, to see what the offensive linemen look, right? Look like against them. Like Danielle Hunter and Willie Anderson, obviously, and other guys like Clowney now, too. And then for the Titans, like to watch the interior of the offensive line.
Handle those guys.
Handle Jeffrey Simmons. Like, we have guys that are really, really good, and Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker and Devon Hamilton and Eric Armstead, the list goes on, right? I don't think we have guys quite to those guys' level. And
there's that next tier. That's just
but that's where you walk away going, I don't think they did enough to improve the offensive line. And here, it's still like a somewhat even battle.
Yeah.
I do feel like the offensive line is doing better this year against the defensive line than they did a year ago.
Yeah.
I feel, I don't know if you guys see this yet, but I feel like Walker Little's kind of woken up a bit in his aggressiveness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He seems a little more feisty than normal. Do you see that at all? I don't know, man. I think look, again, he'd be a massive guard and I think he could play guard. I think he can play right. I think left is over for him. It's either CVL or for Anton, whoever is going to be out there, or if you need him from time to time. But
and hopefully
maybe
Anton's fine, by the way, after going down for a little bit today.
Hopefully
he's perfect.
No, of course. I think across the board, I think Sean Surratt's done a nice job. Like, hey, this is how we expect you to play O-line. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how athletic you are. I don't care how fast you are, smart you are, whatever. I want you to be mean and nasty. I want you to be getting after people. So maybe there's a spark that's lit.
Maybe he says something to him right before practice.
Who knows?
Something, that just gets under Walker's skin because, especially in one-on-one.
Go talk about Walker's mama before practice. He gets really mad.
Like
say nothing about my mama.
Last year, watching one-on-ones, everyone walked away like, oh, Walker Little is he looks like he should be a really good tackle in this league, but he just doesn't have the power, the attitude. And I do feel like this year when you watch him, it does look a little different.
Last year, he was like a turnstile in camp. I'm sorry, especially early. He caught on to he got better, but he was nowhere. He was a lot better this year.
Yeah.
But you look at the camp so far; it's totally different than last year.
Yes, it is.
Now
Much more physical.
Yeah, last year was more figuring it out and exploring.
The install was still going on last year. Yeah, they should have that down this year. All right, more Jaguars to get to. Let's talk a little bit more about the offensive line when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
25 weeks comes down to this.
You ready?
3 wide under the lights. 0 margin for error. Everything on the line. Flirting with 200 miles per hour in the place where this journey began. Race 26, the final hunt for a spot in the chase. The Coke Zero Sugar 400 weekend at Daytona, August 28th through 29th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by
Morgan & Morgan.
Hey, Tom McManus here. I sure do know how awful it is to get injured out there, man. It's a bummer, but never due to someone else's negligence like many of you. Hey, if this is speaking to you directly, you got to check out Morgan & Morgan. Largest personal injury law firm in the nation. Over $30 billion recovered for all their clients. All they do is win, and win some more, and they don't get a single dime unless you do. I know, listen, a proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days. Not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. You check them out, dial at Pound Law on your cell, or check them out at forthepeople.com.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Lauren Brooks. Summer means vacations, beach trips, and plenty of time on the road. If your tires are overdue for replacement, Big Chief Tire has a new way to save. They're offering special online-only pricing on tires, making it easier than ever to find the best deals before your next trip. Shop online, schedule your installation, and travel with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com and see how much you could save today.
I'm Alan Tyre with Trust Line Mortgage. My business partners Bill Pappas and Ken Rimley want to thank all the top real estate agents and builders who refer us business every day. Thinking about buying or building a new home? At Trust Line Mortgage, we're here to make the mortgage process simple, clear, and stress-free. That's why First Coast residents have trusted us for more than 37 years. Since 1989, Trust Line Mortgage has been your local mortgage company dedicated to personal service. Real people, real conversations, and real solutions. Whether you're looking for a conventional, VA, FHA, or construction loan, Trust Line Mortgage brings over 4 decades of experience to help you. And did I mention we offer the most competitive jumbo rates in Florida? If you're ready to buy, build, refinance, or simply explore your options, call Trust Line Mortgage today at 904-381-LOAN or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trust Line Mortgage.
Trustline Mortgage, NMLS 331480. Alan Tyre, NMLS 246490. Bill Pappas, NMLS 218443. Ken Remley, NMLS 246445.
Did you know that Kuhn Flowers showrooms are filled with gift ideas for the ones you love? This is Frank Frangie. Kuhn Flowers has been a staple here in Jacksonville for over 75 years. KuhnFlowers.com.
Hey, poker players, are you looking for big jackpot excitement?
You know it, and I heard Best Bet is the place to go for Vegas-style table games and big jackpot winnings. With friendly dealers, exciting action, and games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker, there's no better place to play.
That's right. With 3 locations, there's a Best Bet location close by for you to win big. See all the details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to floridahomeac.com/careers to find out more.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
You big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will, we
A little Queen
for you on this Tuesday afternoon. We will rock you. Let's get it to the offensive line, who is trying to not get rocked. Yeah. I'll say that. But yeah, so as we've seen the last 3 practices, Anton Harrison has been taking all the snaps at left tackle, Walker Little at right tackle, maybe a little bit of right guard for Walker Little, and then Wyatt Milam, the right guard, Wyatt Milam, since he's the right guard. Ezra Cleveland still at left guard, Robert Hainsey at center. I would imagine if we had a game on Saturday, well, let's say a joint practice, since they're not going to play in the preseason games, that would probably be the lineup.
Start, yeah. And
then obviously Cole Van Lennon's still working off to the side, and then obviously a slew of backups as well. But when we saw Anton Harrison go down just for a little bit today, I was freaking out because that's potentially 2 left tackles that you would have injured. He was able to finish the practice. So like I said, hopefully he's perfectly fine. But it is interesting if, let's say, Anton couldn't practice on Thursday. Let's just throw it out there. Yeah, hopefully he's fine, like I said. But if he couldn't, I would imagine that Walker Little goes back to left tackle and Chuma Adoga plays right tackle.
Yeah, that's what would be my guess
that's how it would go.
I feel like in a situation like that, they may, and obviously if it was practice, they'd probably be like, all right, let's mix let Walker play over there, then put Adoga over there. We've seen him at times try Adoga at left tackle. I remember last year they were mixing so much stuff up. You were saying Adoga over there a little bit more, but I feel like you may want to try both sides of that because to Tommy's point, it does kind of feel like the sense of it feels like Walker Little. We've seen a lot on the right side. So do you want to avoid if you can feel like he can be your true right tackle and play really well there? I don't know if you want to continuously mix up that and then you're mixing up your left and your right tackle are different players rather than just having to change out one. So it would be interesting in that sense. Like, do they trust Adoga to be able to be over there just for a joint or a preseason game and just see how it goes? But especially because you're not going to be in front of Trevor in a preseason game if that's what you're mixing up.
And if McCary's healthy, then you wonder if it would be Patrick McCary starting and then Wyatt Milam coming off the bench. But then the question could be, and we got this question from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, can Wyatt Milam play tackle?
He can.
Yeah. Right. So,
I believe he can.
So then maybe Wyatt Milam's your left tackle.
Or right tackle.
Or right.
And Walker Little could stay at right tackle if you want to keep him on the right side. And then McCary potentially your right guard. So there's another combination that they could have as well.
Yeah, and a good look, with Cole Van Landen, when he comes back, he can play all 4, you know? I wonder if he could play center.
I mean, I feel like this guy can do everything. And by the way, since he's not able to participate in the team drills, he's obviously working off to the side, no individual drills as well. Go ahead and get him some snaps. Let him take some snaps and see if he can play center while he's got the downtime.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the MO of Liam and the offensive line. You know, like we got to have guys that are versatile. We never know what's going to happen, and we got to make sure guys can play both sides, left, right, shouldn't matter, right? You can play right tackle, you can play left tackle. So yeah, hopefully Anton's fine because he's looked really good at left tackle. He's very athletic, that guy. And always has been. He's just a really athletic guy, very comfortable out there.
You don't see a lot of tackles with their shirts up so that you can see their stomachs. He's not afraid.
Yeah,
that's how athletic and in shape
he is. He looks really good.
And then you've got Pregnon too, by the way.
Pregnon, I was watching Pregnon. He's definitely got the tools. He might need a little more work, just getting used to the speed of the quickness of the defensive tackle right in front of him. I'm sure that's a big difference from college to pro. You know, I looked at it from the other side, old linemen, how fast they got in the pros. I'm sure when you look at it the other side, it's the same. You know, like the quick twitch. You know, the power might be a little different. You know, probably just getting used to it. But he's handled his own. It's not like he's been getting beat or nothing. But it just feels like he needs a little bit more time. But I think Milam's a guy that you can count on. He looks good. He you see him after practice, he's always kind of laughing, but his demeanor is like, you can tell, maybe it's West Virginia or something, but you can tell he's a tough hombre. He looks like he could handle himself no problem in a tough situation.
Oh, yeah. What I like is after every...
Couldn't say it about all of them, but him for sure.
After the individual part of the offensive linemen, so not individual drills, but the offensive linemen working together, as soon as they would finish, every time McCary would come over to Milam and they'd do like either a fist bump or shake hands or something, high five, whatever. And so I was like, I like that they are still close, even though obviously they're
competitors.
Fighting, they're fighting for the exact same position.
Yeah.
It's what it seems like at this point in time.
Well, I mean, look, McCary's backs he looked better today. He didn't really participate, but I saw him running.
He did more today than he's done.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw him running, and he looked pretty good. Like he felt pretty good today. So hopefully he was having a good day. But I do think that the back's been bothering him just because he grabs it. I mean, nobody's told me anything. Just look at him. You can tell he's stretching it from time to time.
Well, and that was the issue all last season. So that's going to be in your head to have a backup plan.
That's right. And he's sitting there going, look, I want what's best for the team. This kid's going to, we all get injured. I want him ready. He's got to be ready because if he's not ready, then Trevor gets killed and then we don't win.
Yeah, exactly.
And we all want to win because, whether you're starting or not, you're part of the team. You want the team to win. More they win, the more better everything is for everybody. So that's a good team player right there. And, look, that's how it should be, Veterans, you're fighting for your job, but when the rooks come in, you teach them what you know. You're trying to make the team better. And I get a lot of times, especially in the old school way, like you'd have to wait a few weeks for the vets to really unless you maybe were a high draft pick or something like that, to really say, start, being cool to you just because it's just the way it is. It might be different today. But yeah, you should be that way, man. Help them out. Let them, make your team better because you're going to, you never know what happens with you. You might miss a game, but you want that replacement not to be better than you, but want them to be ready, And if you're confident in yourself, you have no problem, giving that lesson or helping them out. And the kid's got talent. If he didn't have talent, he wouldn't be helping them at all. Right. He wouldn't be talking to him.
Well, he wouldn't have been drafted where he was, which was the third round. Last year.
Exactly.
All right, we've got more position groups to go through. Also, Taylor's Tangent. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
1010XL is multimedia. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can't buy this kind of media exposure. 1010XL, maximum media exposure.
Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at the Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it to us and get a quote in minutes. And if you don't see what you need on the shelf, we'll help you get it. You can access thousands of products beyond what's available in store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk. Build quotes faster and source the materials you need to keep your jobs moving. Just like that, at Lowe's.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Hi, I'm Blake Bortles. People know I've always said if I wasn't playing football, I'd probably be on a construction site. So Next Gen Roofing finally let me live the dream.
Blake, why are you wearing a red practice jersey?
Always worn it for safety.
Right. Well, around here, the red jersey means you're the new guy, so you're in charge of garbage cleanup.
Perfect. I love garbage time. Always excelled in it.
It's not exactly what I meant.
Good thing Next Gen Roofing has real pros handling everything from family homes to large commercial buildings. Next Gen, teamed up with you.
Teamed up with you.
Make your outdoor living space one you're proud of with Sutherland Lawn and Landscape. From landscape design and outdoor living spaces to turf, lighting, irrigation, pavers, and complete residential and commercial maintenance, Sutherland brings your vision to life with quality craftsmanship and a team you can trust. Sutherland Lawn and Landscape, transforming outdoor spaces, elevating everyday living. Visit SUTHERLIN lawn.com today.
Hey Duval fans, Jeff Lageman here. To win on game day, our team needs a flawless playbook and elite execution, and your vehicle is no different. From routine maintenance and brakes to engine and transmission work, team up with one of 30 local Jacksonville Napa Auto Care Centers. Most repairs are backed by a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide peace of mind warranty.
Score big. Drive into Arlington Tire and Service on Merrill Road or Smart Tire Auto Service on University Boulevard today.
Hacker here, and I'm going to be up in New England for the next couple of days, taking in a little family getaway before football season. And thanks to Awaken 180, that family getaway will include some water parks, some hide and seek, some water balloon battles, some silly string battles with my 7-year-old and other kids in the family up there in the New England area. 2 years ago, when I was over 300 pounds, I could not have dreamed of doing that, particularly in the hot summer months. But thanks to Awaken 180, the coaching I got, the guidance I got, the weight absolutely fell off. It's the real deal. Results speak for themselves. I lost over 100 pounds thanks to the best weight loss program I've ever been on. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800 and do what I did. Get your life back with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
I'm local attorney Rick Alexander. In my 30 years practicing law, I've learned you never want to choose money over health. It's always a bad deal. Unfortunately, when someone screws up and you get hurt, that choice is gone. Your only choice is whether you face the future with a lawyer or without one. If you're hurt because somebody screwed up, call me at the practice. The Alexander Law Practice, 904-460-600 or alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
If you've been dealing with backups, strange smells, or soggy spots in the yard, your septic system is trying to tell you something. This month, save $500 on a new septic system installation from Rooter. As the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, we'll handle everything, from the required permits and inspections to the complete installation. Stop hoping. Start fresh. When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com. Financing is available.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
All right, so we've talked about the Jaguars linebacking core. We've talked about the offensive line. We've talked about the secondary. Let's talk about wide receiver. And I guess we've mentioned Travis Hunter since he's both secondary and with the wide receivers. Those two young guys have been so impressive with Cameron and Williams. And I feel like that's even more something that stood out because we already were expecting the amazing plays from all the top wide receivers on this team. And they've all made really good plays so far, including Travis Hunter. But yeah, every time I see 18 and 19, I'm like, here we go. Here they go again.
Yeah.
They are really talented.
C.J. Williams had a nice play in red zone.
Yep.
A nice catch.
Touchdown, yep.
Yep. He's been making plays.
I guess
and
it's
Cameron
automatically
as well.
a touchdown because they're in red zone.
Yeah, right. I think, look, Tim Jones is sitting there, and the reason he's sitting there is special teams, and he's a really good special team player. So one of those guys is going to have to show that they can play special teams and play it at a high level. I would imagine they can.
And Cameron, a lot of people think, will be a punt returner along with Parker Washington.
Yeah. Has he been returning punts yet? He has. Oh, that's right. I saw him. Yeah. I wonder if he's got enough. I don't know if he's got enough wiggle. He's fast and he's strong, and I'm sure he can break tackles. And he's a one-cut kind of guy and get up the field. But
he's taller than your average punt returner.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah,
he's a big boy.
Which helps as far as the receiving core. That helps because they don't have another guy like him.
But Tim Jones, I believe, is what they call a core four. He's on every special team. Punt, block, punt, or punt, return, punt, kickoff, return. So if one of those guys could show that, that's how you, unless they keep 6, or that would be 7, counting Travis.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on where you count Travis.
Yeah, but those two young guys, man, all you got to do is keep making plays, and eventually it gets to, you want to get to that point as a player where they're like, we just can't cut him. He may not be the number one guy, but we just can't let this guy go. He's going to be good. He's going to help us, whether it's special teams or at some point we're going to find a way to figure out how to get him in the game plan. We just got to have this kind of kid. You know what I mean? They create
separation from what I've seen the younger guys. Now, granted, they're going a lot of times up against that first team defense too, and it's been 1s versus 2s versus 1s. So every time I watch them, I'm like, how did they get drafted so late? I'm surprised.
With Josh Cameron, because we've had the conversation, if Parker Washington is such a pivotal part of your offense, do you want to keep having to use him on punts? And then it's like, okay, but he's a really good punt returner, so you don't want to lose that either. But I know Josh Cameron in college it was like, I remember reading over 20, he had over 20 yards per carry in 2024 or per return in 2024. And then 2025, they just straight up avoided him. And that was like a whole thing of, okay, just don't kick at Josh Cameron. So if you have somebody that you do feel like it'd be explosive in that area, it'd be hard not to keep them on the roster roster. But to your point, we think special teams in that aspect sometimes, and there's a lot of other levels of special teams.
Not
and that's
just
like
returning.
not just actually returning the ball.
You got to run down on kickoff and make something happen, and I'm sure they can. They're capable.
Yeah.
It's not, that's the most Neanderthal position on the whole team. Run down and find ball.
Exactly. Ball.
Don't get ball and hit ball.
See ball, get ball,
Yeah.
But Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr., we've talked a lot about them. Jacoby Myers is the glue, I think, for the offense. We've talked a ton about them, but those two young guys, I definitely wanted to mention them.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, too, because I was talking to Joe at camp about this today, and I'm like, the last couple years, it's been every single year, and this is not a knock on this guy because he works his butt off every single year, but it's been Trammell, so much Austin Trammell at camp, and this year I feel like we haven't talked nearly had to talk a ton about him. But in part is you have so many weapons, and your receiving corps has gotten so deep at this point that it's kind of fizzled off, which stinks for him in a sense because it has been like camp has when he's been shined, and I think his name has continued to be talked about in that sense. But now you do have two young guys who have come in here and obviously made massive plays. You talk about Travis Hunter still playing on offense, and that's not even including a Jacoby and a BT and a Parker and a Tim Jones. So it does feel like this year, the last 2 years, it's been like Joe would call him training camp Trammell. Here it is. And this year, the name hasn't been talked about very much because you have so many guys out there.
Well, look, I know last year was raising the floor, but he raised the floor in the wide receiver room with Cameron and CJ Williams.
Yep.
I mean, they're just physically, better, more athletic. They're making plays. Trammell's fine. He's normally. You're right though. These other two guys are kind of taking his. Getting his thunder for camp so far. So good for them. That's part. It's like, survival of the fittest. Who's gonna last at the end? Who's gonna make plays in the end? So still a long way to go, but they're battling right there, man. Those are the kind of, last day where you're like, all right, who we keeping? And the special teams coach is gonna go, well, Tim Jones covers he does everything on special teams. So I really need him.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna be like, well, dang, he's not as good as a receiver, but got to give the special teams coordinator what he needs.
And because when will they, realistically, if you don't have injuries to the wide receiving corps, when will they be on the field? We're already talking about 12 and 13 personnel and which receivers are going to come off the field at that point in time. For Travis Hunter, by the way, thanks to ESPN's Mike Duraco for always keeping track. As far as 11 on 11 today, 10 plays on defense, 7 on offense. Total snaps today, 51 on defense, 35 on offense. Wow. So, he's getting his fair share of work. And yes, D-Rock does an excellent job when it comes to that. Running back, let's get to that quickly. Chris Rodriguez, we didn't get to see him today. He had a precautionary day off, so to speak. But Bashal Tootin, LaQuint Allen, I feel like it's those two. And then even though everybody else looks
good,
decent,
you've seen
but
moments.
It's those two that every time they get the ball, unless they're stuffed at the line of scrimmage, they have vision in order to create space. And you can see, I think LaQuint, he's not obviously as fast as Tootin, but when he gets going, he's a locomotive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up. He's definitely increased his speed. There's no doubt about it. I look at Abdullah ran away from everybody today. It was funny. I was standing next to Matt Hayes. He was like, "Man, I can't believe that. That's pretty good for a rookie." I'm like, "Rookie? He's 33 years old." He's like, "Oh, that's right." I'm like, "Yeah, that's Amir
Did you
Abdullah,
think
right?"
that was Jamari Taylor?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, "No, that guy's. He doesn't look like he's 33 years old."
He played in Nebraska, Matt.
No doubt. Look, he's. They brought him for a reason. I don't know where he fits. That third down back's going to be interesting. I mean, we have LaQuint Allen Jr. penciled in, maybe with some pen, but can the other guys block as well and maybe catch the ball a little bit better and maybe help you a little bit more? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They can't block as well. I can tell you that right now.
Well, they can't block as viciously.
Right.
They may be able to block as well, but not as vicious as him. He is a violent blocker. But I think that's got to work itself out. The two RB1s are Rodriguez and Tootin. They're gonna battle that out, and after that, again, special teams are going to be a part of it. You got to be able to do that. You got to be able to show that we know that LaQuint can pick up the blitz. Very good at that. Can run the ball when needed. Can catch the ball when needed. But that Taylor guy's interesting. Now he's a little bit smaller in stature. Can he pick up the blitz? Can he do his pass pro? Good enough to make sure that quarterback's clean, and can he get out in the open and make something happen? He looks like he's got some wiggle.
I was just about to say, Taylor has the wiggle.
Yeah, he's got wiggle.
For
he's
sure.
He's thick too. That's when you talk about that lower body thickness. He has that. It was funny. I was talking about that drill earlier, where it was the running back. It was pretty much just running backs, tight ends, and then linebackers and safeties for the most part. And it was just Abdullah at one point, and I was like, that's kind of funny. Well, he turned. I was like, oh, Abdullah. Oh, the other Abdullah.
Yeah.
It was just them against each other.
versus Yasir.
Yeah,
Yasir,
which was kind of fun for a second.
Like I told y'all, they were both on the winning team as far as the Iron Jaguars games.
Yeah.
Both Abdullahs.
Yeah, so those drills, I always used to go first because I knew Freddie would go first, and everyone expected him to beat me anyway, so I didn't care. I was like, please run an out route. Just make me look halfway okay. And then that'd be about it.
like did my part. Thank you. Good job,
be
Fred.
exposed too much.
I would never wanted to go against Freddie.
Oh, my
so
God. Well, you think of like Jamari Taylor. I'm just saying, like, even Abdullah, you're like, they're just wishing like little Mazda, little sports cars. You're like, I like hitting you in the hole. If I get you in a phone booth, you're dead. But you get me out in the middle of the field.
Open space,
open
not as
water.
fun.
I'm in trouble. Oh my gosh, yeah. Give me nightmares.
I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, Fred Taylor, that is.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's just me. All right, let's head to Taylor's Tangent and give away some lunch. On the other side, heading into the 3 o'clock hour, it's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Golf courses, beaches, and nonstop sports talk.
Amazing, isn't it?
No wonder so many people like to live here.
This is a wonderful thing.
1010XL, Jack Sports Radio, the flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach, WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday, backed by Morgan & Morgan.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Throw your rifle and rod in the truck every Saturday morning. This could be really special. Go hunting and fishing with Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Favor, and Captain Kirk Walls on the Nimnit Outdoors Show, Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Hey, Florida homeowners. Are your electric bills through the roof? Your old windows and doors could be the problem. Renewal by Andersen offers superior energy-efficient solutions. For a limited time, buy 4 windows and doors, get the 5th free, plus 12-month special financing. Don't let another hot Florida summer drive up your energy bills. Upgrade your home's comfort, beauty, and energy efficiency with Renewal by Andersen. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Jeff Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. Is your lawn struggling this summer? Brown spots, insects, weeds, lawn disease. They can quickly take over when your lawn isn't getting the right care. Julington Creek Pest Control provides a complete lawn care program featuring premium granular fertilizer, not cheap liquid shortcuts, plus general pest and termite protection. Give your lawn the care it deserves. Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Northeast Florida's highest-rated residential home electrical contractor is American Electrical, providing unsurpassed quality. Duval, St. Johns, Clay, and Nassau counties. No matter your electrical problem or project, large or small, American Electrical will get it done at a price that's right. High-quality electrician, that's who they are. Trust a company that's been on the First Coast for decades, proudly serving the community while being a big part of the community. Call American Electrical for all your electric needs at 737-7770. Wired right at a fair price.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's New York Pizza. If dinner seems expensive, come grab a pizza that's hot, fresh, and affordable. Feed the whole family without spending a ton. Tony D's New York Pizza. Easy, quick, and always a good call.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, Checkmate's chessman and, you may be surprised, newfound fan of American football.
Really? You?
Absolutely. Listen to this. Duval!
It's Duval, Chester. Duval.
That's what I said. Duval!
Ball.
Ball!
Ball.
Ball! The point is, Brendan, with football season approaching and friends dropping by your house to watch the games, there's no better time to spiff up your garage with a beautiful, durable, polymer-coated floor.
We can even do it in team colors for the real fans out there.
Oh, that is a good idea.
A garage floor your friends will love?
Check. In a color that makes you proud?
Check. Installed by locals who can actually pronounce Duval?
Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Neck pain, back pain, headache, Shadrick Chiropractic, Westside, 103rd, River City Marketplace, Riverside, Arlington, and the Beaches. Acupuncture, dry needling, physical therapy. Relief starts today. Shadrick Chiropractic, 743-6700.
I'm Olivia Brooks with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. Anton Harrison is learning a new position during Jags training camp. The former first-round pick is currently taking first-team reps at left tackle after spending his first 3 seasons on the right side of the offensive line. Head coach Liam Cohen says the move is part of an ongoing evaluation and is using camp to test his versatility as they continue shaping the line ahead of the 2026 season. Stay with 1010XL for complete Jags training camp coverage. It's 92 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
We have show and tell today for Taylor's Tangent.
Oh, yes.
Because she brought a clip, but first, let's do this.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
We got to feed the people in just a little bit.
We got to.
I thought you had Chick-fil-A on the other side of your computer. I was like,
Bring out my chicken nuggets. I'm like, here they are. It would be something I would do if Steve let us have food in the studio, but we got to keep things clean in here. I'm going to take my tangent and go towards the team that just won the Super Bowl and the Seattle Seahawks. We've talked a lot about them, rightfully so. I think that when you talk about the way they spent last year, the way they've drafted, what their head coach with Mike McDonald has done there. We talk about their defense and just how insane their defense was last year. And we compare it here in the sense of you don't need 2 guys to get like 15, 16 sacks each if you can get 6, 7, 8, 9 from several guys, and that's what we've done. We've talked so much about Eamon Worry and how they use him in their defense and how interesting that is. Sam Darnold, there's just so many interesting storylines, and obviously right now the Hard Knocks is surrounded around Seattle, and this clip came out today that I thought was really interesting, and it kind of made me think of the way things are here in Jacksonville, to a sense of you almost have to prove things a little extra to people because of, some of the national narratives of, we talked last year, Liam Cohen leaned very hard into we're a small market team. And he leaned into that and was like, okay, well, I'm going to use this to motivate my players and kind of make this a whole thing. And he's done that with many things throughout. But I wanted to play this clip. It was Mike McDonald talking to Nick Eamon-Worry, actually, because Eamon-Worry's hurt right now. And so has one of the little scooter things that he's riding around on. And so I want to play this clip and I want to talk about it and relate it to some of the things and ways that I feel like it does connect to the Jacksonville Jaguars right now.
About practice, because I do want to go out there, but I don't want to scoot around, the fans see me, and especially when I can't walk. So what
do you think I'm gonna say?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Whatever is the best for you to get you as healthy as possible, as quick as possible. That's what you should be doing. So sometimes it's I need to go home and go to sleep. Sometimes it's I gotta wake up with a great attitude and tag this. Sometimes it's I'm done with my rehab for right now. I should go be with my teammates.
Yeah.
Anybody that doesn't have any effect on that, install this, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like someone talking about you on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's it's gonna go away in 15 seconds. Everything will pass.
Yeah, it does. You're right. Yeah.
See that note card right there? It says this new hotshot coordinator is terrible. Rex Ryan. And I deserved it. We were dog on defense, and he was talking mad. And back then, I used to care so much about image and now he thinks that we're the best thing ever.
Yeah.
That's I remember,
Yeah, I keep receipts too. I like to prove people wrong.
But even still, there's always this thing of people's version of me and what they think of me is not me. So it's like, I'm okay with that.
I just thought a lot of things interesting in that. Number one, I think that we've seen so much Liam Cohen lead into the way he internally motivates the players, and sometimes that billboard material has been what he likes to use. And he talked about last year about like playing mad, just the stuff that went viral recently with we're not on NFL.com, but Caleb Williams is, and all of that stuff that he kind of leans into. And I think that is his way. And obviously he's not the only one, because it almost seems like Mike McDonald's saying similar things where he kept a post-it of someone talking crap about him. And it was a period in time where he knew he could get better. And so it's interesting to me to kind of see that, because I think here we live in this bubble of Jacksonville Jaguars sometimes. And like other teams go through these same things, and other teams feel like they're not getting the love they deserve from national media or other, teams or players or whatever the case may be. And I think that goes through everything. But at the end of the day, this team just won the Super Bowl. And I feel like from week 4, we were talking about how good they were and probably the best team, if not one of the best teams in the NFL. And it's really fun to see these young coaches, and also a defensive-minded one too, because everybody's kind of turned on that recently. Like, get the young hotshot offensive play caller. That's the people that need to lead your team. And he's kind of proven otherwise, that you can do it in other routes. But I just thought it was cool, and it shows the insecurities a little bit of a player too coming out. He's talking about he's injured, and he's like, I don't want fans to see me scooting around and not being able to walk. Like, what kind of narrative is that going to start sending to the fan base or national media, and how are they going to turn that?
Arthroscopic right ankle surgery last month is what it turns out to be. We had seen Eamon Werby put on PUP.
Yeah.
No one was really sure what it was, and so obviously they felt comfortable enough to use that clip at that point in time.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. Sometimes I think coaches, they're a little bit worse than players when they get critiqued.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but Rex Ryan probably went over the top with, giving McDonald a bunch of grief. McDonald admitted that he wasn't a very good coordinator. So was it not warranted?
Wasn't good.
You know what I mean?
Defense,
The defense wasn't playing well. So what are you supposed to say? I think sometimes, and I think locally, and I'm not saying with Liam, but in the past, like they want you to like sugarcoat stuff, like not call them out, not like say, no, that was wrong, that was a bad call or whatever, and they get really defensive about it. It's almost like, well, you don't know, you're not a coach, and you're right, I'm not a coach, but I know football, and I know your job is to win. If you don't win, you're going to get critiqued, whether you like it or not. I'll be honest with you, I'm getting I wish he wouldn't have said what he said about NFL.com and look at all the stories. There's no stories about us. He should say that privately, and I know he does. Don't say it publicly, because you sound like you're complaining. It was a little whiny to me, and I didn't like it. And I know Liam's not like that.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like. Like, oh, it's not fit. Look at us. Look, keep using that. If that's what you got to do to motivate your team to sit there and say, oh, look, they're still not talking about us. I'm almost like, who cares if that's what McDonald's saying?
Yeah.
Who cares who's talking about you? Who cares what they're saying? We know what we got right here in this room. I know what kind of person you are. I know what kind of player you are. So who cares what Joe Blow out there says about you if you're walking around on your scooter thing at practice? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't. And again, all the job is to win.
Yeah.
Just win. And if whatever the motivation is, great. That is great. I do think that whole no respect thing's getting a little thin. Because you went 13-4 last year. You got a lot more respect this year coming in. And let's be honest, your players and the coach are even getting mentioned in top 10s. Before they weren't. So you are making progress in respect as far as that goes.
Your over-under is 8.5. That's what Vegas thinks, and that's why, when you see a lot of predictions, it's like
okay.
But the majority of the league is around 9.5.
Right.
There's not many teams above 9.5.
Right. And look, if you look at it from the outside in, the Jags didn't do anything this offseason that remotely got anybody excited about their chances to repeat as 13-4. It's outside of us, the fans, and the people in Jacksonville. We're like, no, we're good. We think they're going to be good. We're going to find out how good they are. But from the outside looking in, they're like, well, they're running it back. That's what they're doing. They got the same guys. Who do they got that's different? Chris Rodriguez Jr., okay. A couple draft picks, okay. But other than that, get Travis Hunter back, great. But what else did you do? So they're sitting there going,
other teams added a lot.
And now you're on the radar, and, you got a lot to prove. It's going to be a tough year. I still think they're going to have a great year. I think they're going to be one of the tough teams out there. But I can understand people on the outside thinking, they didn't They didn't do anything to impress in the offseason. And to be honest with you, they didn't, as far as like, oh, wow, what a player. But you can see when you go to practice every day, you like this pick, you like that pick, you like the development of this guy and that guy. They don't out there see that unless they're here.
Daily, yeah.
On the daily, right.
Yeah.
You can't just drop in for a practice, get an interview from the head coach and him telling you all coach speak, and then you going, oh, they're my favorite team in the AFC. Like, you haven't even been here. What are you talking about? You got to spend days here to see what is actually going on, who's making plays, who's doing what. But at the end of the day, none of it does matter. What matters is, do you win the ball games or not? And you do have to look. It's a different era. There's no doubt. It has to be hard. Trust me. I've grown up myself on Twitter because normally I'd go after everybody. I'd be like, "What'd you say?" But I don't do that anymore. I mute you, and I just on my way. I could care less what you think. It doesn't matter to me, right? But I could like back in the day. It was like I remember Coughlin would always say like, don't listen to the media. They don't know everything. They know what we show them, but they don't know. They're not here all the time. They're not inside the locker room all the time. When they come into the locker room, it's a show. We all put on an act for them. It's not, you know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. So don't worry about all that outside noise. But today, the noise is everywhere. And it's hard with social media. And look, you can sit there in front of your team and be like, guys, just stay off. So wouldn't you love to be a coach and be like, just don't even listen to any of it. Don't pay attention to any of it.
Unless it motivates you.
All that matters is here. Yeah.
Because
I guess.
If you're Walker Little on Twitter at times, or Nick Mullins on Twitter right now, as far as what people are saying, like if that helps motivate you, then Walker Little, read Twitter for an hour before practice today and go out there and have a better or more fierce attitude than what you've had in the past.
But most of those people making those comments didn't even go to practice. They get those comments from people at practice. Correct. And look, no disrespect to the people at practice. It's great, but you don't know the call all the time. You don't know what the defense or the offensive call is. One-on-ones only tells you so much. I mean, what, you telling me Buster Brown can't cover because Brian Thomas Jr. made him look a little foolish? And by the way, it was inside, so none of you saw it anyway.
I saw it.
Not you,
no,
not media, but people out. You know what I mean? But you read that, you're like, oh, Buster Brown, man, they paid him a bunch of money. Look at him. He's getting schooled by Brian Thomas, who was terrible last year. He must be terrible. And you're like, no, not at all. You know what I mean? So I think it's a lot of it, credit Jack Del Rio. What did he used to say? Perception is reality.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's tough today, this day and age with the social media and everything.
That's that final quote. He said, people's version of me and what they think of me is not me, and I'm okay with that. And I loved that part of it because it was like, say what you want, think what you want. Don't play victim mentality. Just go out there and win. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Listen, just be strong in who you are. I mean, you know how many times I hear, man, I can't believe people say the things they say. I don't even hear it. Because I mute them. Yeah. And I don't care. They don't say it to me. So what? You run and write it down that I'm a bum or I'm an idiot or whatever. Your opinion, that doesn't matter. Yeah. That's what McDonald's saying. Like that's not whatever you think.
You know
I
who
am,
you are. We know who you are.
You don't even know who I am. You're just going off of this persona or this perception or somebody told you something about me. You don't even know me. You have no idea. You know what I mean? So that's it. But it is a balance for these guys, and it's hard. I get it because it would be very challenging. But at the end of the day, you just got to win. So winning is the cure of everything.
All of it.
By the way, I don't think Liam Cohen intended his comments to go viral when he's talking about
no.
I think he was being funny and goofy.
I'm not bagging on him too, but I just think don't give anybody because from the outside it does look like you're complaining. At least that's how I saw it. And you don't want that, man. You don't want any, and you don't want you're going to play the Bears. Why do you want don't even mention them? Who cares what they're doing up there? Who cares if Caleb Williams is on the cover of Madden and your quarterback isn't? Who really cares? Do you really care? I know he doesn't.
Right.
I know deep down he doesn't care. All he cares about is winning football games.
Those W's.
That's right.
And he's like,
it's tough business.
Should have had 14.
Yeah.
Self-critically, I'm sure. For sure. All right, we've got lunch to give away.
We do. Free lunch for 2 to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 4, you get free lunch to Chick-fil-A. Make sure you get that peach milkshake too. Only a little bit of summer left before it's gone. So made with that ice cream dessert. The real peaches, absolutely delicious and perfect to go with a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. So give us a call right now and get some free lunch.
I love it. More to do on the other side, including Lauren's Lane. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Some players have talent, others have heart. But tonight, I've seen players with talent who I didn't know had any.
1010XL.
And others with heart who I thought only had talent.
Where talent meets heart.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnik Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville, earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnik's Treating You Right guarantee. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnik. For 3 generations, Nimnik has been the place customers keep coming back to. They treat you right, and they give a bunch back to the community. Visit NimnikBuickGMC.com today to learn more or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday is
litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
The birth of a child is a time of joy, but when complications during delivery lead to injury or death, families are left with lifelong problems. If you believe a medical mistake contributed to a birth injury, protect yourself and your family by understanding your legal options. Founded in Jacksonville, Edwards & Raggets helps families evaluate medical negligence claims. No fees unless you recover damages. Call 904-INJURED or visit 904injured.com.
Edwards & Raggets, offices Jacksonville.
Storm season is here, and at JEA, we're on it. We work year-round to strengthen our electric, water, and sewer systems, making them more storm-resistant. Trees are trimmed around power lines to help reduce outages caused by falling debris. Plus, our online outage map and the MyJEA app make it easier than ever to report and monitor outages. So no matter what this storm season brings, we're ready to respond, restore, and keep you informed every step of the way. Learn more and see how you can prepare at JEA.com.
I'm Tom McManus, and after each training camp practice, you'll get my instant reaction with everything I saw from the Miller Electric Center. Get my observations from the practice field, served up by No Way Jose Mexican Bar and Grill, and only on the 1010XL social channels.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to FloridaHomeAC.com/careers to find out more.
Chicken here, you know it's back to school time, baby, with Zero Res. And right now, book 2 rooms of carpet cleaning for $149 and get 2 rooms free. Yeah, book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and take advantage of the savings. Tell them 1010XL sent you.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Alan Tyre with Trust Line Mortgage. My business partners Bill Pappas and Ken Rimley want to thank all the top real estate agents and builders who refer us business every day. Thinking about buying or building a new home? At Trust Line Mortgage, we're here to make the mortgage process simple, clear, and stress-free. That's why First Coast residents have trusted us for more than 37 years. Since 1989, Trust Line Mortgage has been your local mortgage company dedicated to personal service. Real people, real conversations, and real solutions. Whether you're looking for a conventional, VA, FHA, or construction loan, Trustline Mortgage brings over 4 decades of experience to help you. And did I mention we offer the most competitive jumbo rates in Florida? If you're ready to buy, build, refinance, or simply explore your options, call Trustline Mortgage today at 904-381-LOAN or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Trustline Mortgage, NMLS 331480. Alan Tyre, NMLS 246490. Bill Pappas, NMLS 218443. Ken Remley, NMLS 246445.
This is Frank Frangie. When you buy tires from Big Chief Tire, the savings don't stop when you leave the store. Every tire purchase includes the Extra Mile program. That means $10 off every oil change, free tire rotations, free tire repairs, air pressure checks, and more. No points to track, no gimmicks, just real value from a family-owned Jacksonville business that's been serving local drivers for generations. Learn more at WeKeepJacksRollin.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Let's swerve into Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
We're going to veer off the Jaguars just a little bit as we talk a tiny bit about college football. Urban Meyer will be inducted into Florida's Ring of Honor on November 7th when Florida plays host to Oklahoma. Urban Meyer will join Wilbur Marshall, Emmitt Smith, Steve Spurrier, Tim Tebow, Danny Werfel, and Jack Youngblood in the Ring of Honor at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. So just wanted to let people know that the single game tickets are now on sale for Florida. They went on sale, I want to say, on Monday. And so if you want to attend, whether it's that game or any other game, you now can buy the single game tickets, whereas, of course, they're originally sold as season tickets. Then they're sold in bundles, different, like 3-game packages. And then now the single game tickets are actually on sale.
Wilbur Marshall. Gosh, he was unbelievable for the Bears. We loved Wilbur. Well, I know for the Gators. I obviously didn't watch Gator football back then, but when he came to the Bears, holy cow, he was unbelievable from the get-go. Number 58, he was so incredible. Otis Wilson, Mike Singletary, and Wilbur Marshall.
Yeah.
Holy cow, they were unbelievable. Jack Youngblood's so cool. Got to meet him a couple times. He's such a great guy. Let me ask you girls this. So, with Urban, okay, say you're a Jag fan and a Gator fan.
Yeah.
Can you look past the Jag stuff when you assess Urban? Can you what is it called?
Compartmentalize
that into just college? Thank you. I love when you can finish my sentence. I can't think of words. You know what I mean? Can they put it just for Florida? He deserves it.
You're asking me because that's exactly who I am.
I'm asking you,
right?
LB. Yeah.
So to me, you have to separate it. Yes. So yes, I can compartmentalize. Do I think he was the worst NFL head coach in the history of the NFL? 100% do.
Okay.
I have never heard of another head coach not flying back with his team unless there was some sort of emergency and then staying in a bar. Yeah, I also have heard so many stories of him going out the night before games, staying out late, like all the things, and then not knowing who Aaron Donald was and calling them the Phoenix Cardinals and not knowing which team Joe Mixon played for. Like, there's a litany of things, the way he held practices.
Yeah.
But what he did in the NFL really has no bearing on how bad he was for the Jaguars, has really no bearing. And here's the way I'll put it, Tom, is imagine if it was any other team. Let's say he was the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, since we just played a clip from them. Do you think Gators fans would give a rat's behind what he did for the Seahawks in 8 months or however long he was employed there? No. They would say he won us 2 national championships. Now, the morality side of things, then I think that's a bigger question, is what he allowed to happen on the campus at the University of Florida when he was the head coach.
Okay, so maybe that's simpler. And I think it's an easy yes. Does he deserve to be in the Gator Ring of Honor Hall of Fame?
Because he won 2 national championships.
No matter how he won them.
And that's the thing. How many college teams have won when players were doing things they shouldn't have been doing? A ton.
Well, shooting and killing is different than beating people up at a frat party. You know what I mean? Or robbing or doing whatever.
But do you think Aaron Hernandez is the only player that's ever played on a college football team that...
I don't think it's just Aaron Hernandez on that team either.
They was killing people?
Well, maybe not killing people, but roughnecks, getting in trouble. And
there were a ton of guys getting in trouble. I mean, you've heard the stories of, like, Percy Harvin hit a coach, like, physically punched a coach. I mean, the list goes on and on of what he allowed. But I'm just saying he's not the only head football coach in college to have allowed. I bet he had stuff. I bet there are so many skeletons in the closet at Ohio State. But
with him being there.
But they've won yes, that's what I'm saying. With him at the helm. But they've won since he left with Ryan Day. And so people have turned their attention to who's now at the helm of that program. And Florida sucks right now, unfortunately. Maybe John Summerall can get them back. But so that's the other part of things too.
Yeah. He definitely deserves it for winning the titles.
2 titles.
I mean, it's hard to
and by the way, what people don't remember is in 2009, Florida in the SEC championship was an eyelash away from beating Alabama. That game was back and forth. And so if Florida wins that game, Florida might go on to win another national title. I'm not saying they would have. Alabama won the game.
Do fans really care how do they care? I mean, if the Jags had a couple guys that got in trouble, like
the Jags won a Super Bowl, the majority of fans don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think
depending on what the charge is.
Yeah, depending on what it is.
Personally,
obviously.
if a Jags player assaults someone that you know and love,
What about domestic violence? When you look past, you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be certain things. Like, man, I don't know.
See, I think you can separate it too. I think you can celebrate like the win and not specifically like the person. And that's what I think some Gator fans do. My grandpa was a diehard Gator fan, hates Urban Meyer, hated Urban Meyer when he was at Florida, honestly. Like he just didn't like the type of guy that Urban Meyer was. And so I remember like he would complain all the time about Urban Meyer. And then health issues and it left and then came back. And my grandpa's like, he's a liar. He's always been a liar. That's the type of person he is. But that doesn't take away that he was excited about them winning the national championship. I think that you can separate that a little bit in the sense of like, this is my college football program and I cheer for them, but I don't specifically maybe like the person as the person that was in charge. As a football coach, maybe it's different because obviously you were winning games. And then there was obviously more drama at Ohio State and then here. So I've never liked him either. But I'm not a Gator fan, so I don't have the both sides of that. And I wonder how much is it for some fans where I'm sure there's some people where it's like you're a Gator and a Jag fan, but you're a little bit more of a Jag, you're more of a diehard Jag than a Gator. And they probably, after all of that, were like, oh, I can't stand that man. And then there's probably
deserve to be celebrated.
Yeah. And then there's probably some who are more of a Gator fan than they are a Jag, and like they root for both, but Gators are number one for them. And those people are like, no, I want to remember him this way of bringing us 2 national championships. And so I think there's so many ways you look at that. And I do think that sometimes you don't love every single person all the time that are on your football team. Sometimes there are ones where it's like not the best guy, but a good football player. And if they're not like killing people, then I feel like sometimes you can look beyond that.
Yeah. I mean,
but it will be interesting. I see it even on the text line. I'm a Gator fan, still despise Urban Liar, is what he said. So I think you're going to get a lot of those, and you're going to get a lot of I don't care. We had 2 national championships, and that's the last time we were able to see those. Also,
I get if you're a Gator fan and a Jag fan, just say diehard both. Majority are probably picking Gators if they have to pick, right? That's true?
No, I don't think
Used to be. Maybe not
used
today.
to be, yeah. Now
probably.
that the team has been around for this long.
Yeah, so the split's probably closer to even.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, diehard Gator, like Gator, Gator all the way, and then diehard Jag.
It's probably an age thing, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I think the little bit younger is going to have
go Jags.
More Jags, maybe a little bit up.
Fair.
But I also think, like, our good friend Graham, right? Like, same boat as me, right? Like, went to Florida, diehard Gators fan, and then also diehard Jags fan. But the more removed you are from college, the easier it is. You get more news, too, when it comes to NFL teams. It's easier to
Way
follow.
more access, yeah.
So sometimes the older you get, the more you become a professional football fan. I honestly am probably split right down the middle. Like, I am for me, obviously, I cover the NFL team, so I'm not going to those games as a fan, even though internally I'm cheering for the team. And for Florida, I get to just completely be a fan.
Yeah.
So
like
it's a
if this
different.
year you were asked, you get to pick one, a Super Bowl or a national championship.
Oh my goodness. Probably work-wise.
No, just how you feel.
Yeah.
Like if someone was like, what would make your heart happier, a Super Bowl or a national championship?
Man. I don't think I could answer that because, I mean, I've seen 3 Gator football national championships.
And you just saw
0
basketball
Super
one
Bowls.
at least, so you still
Basketball,
have that.
I have 3 of those 2.
Mm-hmm.
But with how low Florida's been, with Miami getting to the national championship last year, with teams that I despise, like Ohio State and Georgia winning recently, with Florida State winning more recently than Florida has, like that is so hard. But I know so many diehard Jags fans that I'm also, not that I'm like a selfless person by any means, but I think of all of these people.
How happy it would make all of them.
How happy it would make them, and that's a larger community than just the Gators fans.
Yeah.
But that's really hard.
As a player, I'd pick Super Bowl all day. Like playing
over
in one.
national championship.
Yeah, playing in one. If I had to pick, it'd be Super Bowl all day. But as an alum and be pretty close. I mean, BC's never won one.
Right.
1941 they won it.
Right.
Way back, which doesn't really count anymore.
No, it does.
Sure. But I look, the Jags to win one. I mean, that's just. That's where more for the city and the fan like that. It's just gonna be insane when it happens.
If I lived in Gainesville, I think it would be if I worked in Gainesville Sports Talk Radio
that world every day.
But if BC won, I'd be very proud. I mean, it'd be a proud moment. Obviously, it'd be pretty kick ass.
I'd cry for both.
That's my team.
I'd 100% cry for both. But so many comments on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. The Jag Super Bowl makes all of Jacksonville happy. Florida does not. I get that. That's why I'm saying from a professional aspect, I certainly understand. One person says, well, when's the last time Florida was relevant in football? Well, it was 2020, honestly, when it was Kyle Pitts, Kyle Trask, and that steamroller that Dan Mullen had on offense. But I understand both elements, right? Like my immediate family that all went to Florida, like it would be a huge party, just like the basketball was. My dad got to be there in person. But as far as like our listenership, like almost everyone is a Jags fan, I would imagine, that listens to 1010, and imagine the party that we would have, that parade that we would have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
awesome.
I can't answer that, but it's an excellent question.
It's going to be
Taylor.
awesome is what I meant to say.
both.
It's going to be awesome.
That's right. Speaking of Florida football, just wanted to mention this. John Summerall said earlier today, now that fall practice has begun, in the 4 main lifts, our team as a whole has improved almost 14,000 pounds. It's almost 7 tons. Really impressive. In 4 main lifts, they've improved by 14,000 pounds. What was Billy Napier doing?
Yeah.
What was that army of a staff that he had? What were they doing? Clearly not lifting. That's for dang sure. But I just
really
had to mention
weird.
It's
That's a ton of weight.
Yeah.
It's 7 tons.
I can only imagine. I guess they were doing way more reps than
than
heavier
previously,
weights.
yeah.
I mean, maybe that was the strength coach's
Philosophy,
I don't know.
But I just saw
that's a
that
weird
stat.
one.
I had to mention that. And then
Yeah.
2 baseball things before we get out of Lauren's lane. Freddie Peralta gets the start tonight for the Rays. So interesting to see him at the Rockies. The Rays won last night 13-9. But get this, the game at one point in time was 10-2.
Oh, my goodness.
And then both relievers, the Rays relievers really were not good. And then Scooble's debut is tonight at Wrigley.
Yes, that one will be definitely interesting. Last night, the Cubs beat the Dodgers 10-5. So that was fun.
Huge.
But it's one of those things, like Kyle Tucker came out, was the loudest boos I've ever heard in my entire life. And it was kind of funny because Kyle Tucker obviously was on the Cubs last year, got hurt, and then sucked. And then pretty much we lost the postseason because of him. So there was all of that. I know there was some heckling in the outfield, but this one's going to be a big one just because, I mean, the biggest trade deadline news was Scooble going to the Dodgers, and then just the Dodgers in general and how they're running things, and people hate how they've done everything. And then Scooble came out and defended all of that. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And I also forgot, by the way, the World Baseball Classic. Remember, he was like a whiny baby and wouldn't pitch during it.
Yep.
And
That's
so
right.
I was like, oh man, I don't like this guy.
Okay. Well, hopefully he
Leaning
gets
into that
shellacked tonight. They still say that, don't they, in baseball? Shellacked.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
That's a great word.
Yeah.
I like that word.
One of the guys, by the way, that had been Braxton Garrett, I believe his last name, has been playing with the Shrimp recently. He was in one of the Marlins made a trade with the Cubs too, and so now he's in Chicago. But I had just seen him play for the Shrimp recently.
All right.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's why you got to go to Jumbo Shrimp games.
That's right.
For sure. And yes, I see everyone on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. I understand. A lot of you are not Gator fans. I understand. Trust me, I get it. The golden moment awaits on the other side. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Because upsets make life more interesting.
An instant classic.
1010XL.
There's no way to prepare for the impact an accident makes on your life. That's why we've spent 40 years getting ready for that moment when you need compassion and immediate action. The right doctors, investigators, our team of experienced attorneys, and your free consultation is already in place. So if you've been hurt, remember, the Farah Safety Net is right here to catch you. All you have to do is call Farah and Farah. It's what we built. Jacksonville.
Back to school means a fresh start, and there's no better place to start than with beautiful new floors.
At Lifetime Flooring, save big on beautiful tile, hardwood, LVP, and carpet. Stop in and save with our exclusive showroom specials on the floors you've always dreamed of.
Transform your home with beautiful new flooring that's built for holiday gatherings, busy families, and everyday life.
Don't wait. Save today. Visit LifetimeFlooringJacks.com to schedule your free in-home consultation. Lifetime Flooring, bringing affordable luxury home.
Lifetime Flooring.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by Morgan & Morgan. For the people. Dial pound law.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
Do you have clicking, popping, swelling, or pain in your knee or shoulder?
This can be due to arthritic changes in your joints. Over time, you have wear and tear of your cartilage. I am Dr. George Bari, and here at Bari Orthopedics, we have numerous ways to treat your arthritis, such as regenerative medicine, including PRP and joint replacements with CT guidance for accuracy down to the millimeter. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, call us for an appointment today, or log on to BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Hey guys, Taylor Doll here of Helmets and Heels. It's the little things like a peach milkshake on a warm day that makes summer sweet. And now you can head to your local Chick-fil-A and enjoy a favorite summer treat again. Hand-spun the old-fashioned way, this refreshing milkshake features Chick-fil-A ice cream and peaches. It's the perfect cold treat to enjoy outside on a warm day or with friends and family after dinner. And it's here for just a limited time, so swing by your local Chick-fil-A and treat yourself today.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Want to stretch that dollar? Taylor Doll here to help save you money with the Money Pages magazine and app. Trying to figure out dinner? Money Pages has deals at your favorite local restaurants. Need auto repairs or an oil change? Money Pages has coupons to help you save. Looking to do some home improvement projects? Money Pages has deals on everything home, from AC repair and plumbing to flooring and painting. Check your mailbox for Money Pages today and download the app for savings on the go.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Golden moment for today as we continue on with camp. We've seen a lot of good things we've been going through today about some of the players that have stood out to each of us, and we've named a lot of them in multiple different positions, and some of the ones that we've talked about, true battles coming in with the running back room and the linebacker room coming into camp was one of the more fascinating stories. But we're seeing some other stuff when it comes to the offensive line and the movement of that with Walker Little, and obviously Anton playing a lot on the left side at left tackle during camps. We've seen a lot, even when it comes to the safety room and the corners and kind of the ways they're mixing things up back there and how that looks. Tommy, you were mentioning Ruka Rororo, who was one of the guys that I think that you really need, and that's the thing. You're not asking him to come in and get 10 sacks. That's not what you need out of him. Continue on. Yeah, well, allow it.
5.
Yeah, that's what. That's the world we live in, and it's just we've had so many conversations about just getting those extra sacks from somewhere, and what does that look like? And some of that may be blitzing and getting some from the linebackers and stuff like that. That was something that Devin Lloyd did well, and so how do you replace that part of it will be interesting. But there's a lot of young guys that we've talked about so far today that have stood out in camp, but also some of the guys that I think that you expect to take that next step up that have done really well, like Ajarian and Antonio Johnson, who keep continuing to do their job and improve, which I think is really cool. And so this is that time of year we're approaching joint practices, which we'll be able to see a little bit even more out of when it comes to some of those battles and what they really look like.
Yeah, I mean, look, we said it in the offseason and throughout, and I think a linebacker coach said it recently. You don't have to replace Devin with one guy. But as long as you replace that production, getting after the quarterback, gets the run and the pass, then you got it, right? So if it's guard, I just didn't know Combs was going to move up so quick, I wanted to see what he could do, but he's really been impressive, and if he can be that nickel, cover type or linebacker that's still good against the run, can blitz, he can fill that void a little bit. I've been really impressed with him, and Ventrell Miller too. We know Ventrell can play. Can he stay healthy? Can he, be physical? Remember when 2 years ago when he had that kind of coming out party, he faded towards the end. Part injury, part worn down, so you don't want that to happen. But he's really had a good camp too. So I think they're in a good position at linebacker, where we thought going in like, and then I still would have kept Devin, don't get me wrong, but he's no longer here, so forget about it. But if they can fill that void with Combs, Gardeck, and Miller, they got something.
I remember that joint practice could send out some storylines with the Panthers.
I remember last year every time we would talk about the linebackers, Jeff Loggeman would always say, don't forget Branson Combs. Anytime anyone would talk about it. He would always say, this staff really likes Branson Combs. I really like him, and the staff really likes him. And I was always like, okay, but he's far down the pecking order. Obviously, it's Foye Oluokun. And then it's Devin Lloyd versus Ventrell Miller. And then he's behind that. But certainly, every time we've been out to practice, and there's been 6 so far, 2 padded, you see number 50 make a play. And the pass breakups and or interceptions have been impressive.
Yeah, and keep in mind, one thing I like about the staff is they make these guys earn it through special teams. You have to be good on special teams, and then maybe you'll get your shot at the position that we may need you at. So I think Branson, you string out B.J. Green, you throw those guys in there. That's what they're Durfee now. You see him on punt team. So they're saying, hey, man, you may not start. You may not play a lot in the first year or 2 years, but you better be good on special teams, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And Branson's just showed, look, if you can run, you got a shot, linebacker, especially today. If you can run and you can cover, you got to, as long as you're not too small, you're going to just get blocked every time. And he's not, nor is Ventrell, but, as long as you can cover and run, man, you got a chance to stick on a team.
And we've seen Devin Lloyd struggle in the past, in coverage, and not know exactly where he's supposed to be on the field at times. And so this staff was able to get him to have a Pro Bowl type season, or second team All Pro. Yeah. So that's where you're talking about you can have confidence in this staff that whether it's Ventrell or Branson or whomever, that they're going to get them up to speed. And
so they
quickly.
better be all pro this year, then.
Second team. That's exactly what we expect, for sure. All right, 1 segment to go here on Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you, in this financial climate, or really any, it's never been more important to make your money work for you, which is why I'll recommend Mike McGuire and the Wealth Management team at South State Bank. Financial planning is based on trust, because it's so important. You can trust the South State team. They offer the best combination of sophisticated wealth management strategies with a truly personal approach. That will help you meet your financial goals. Stop by your local South State branch and ask them to connect you with Mike McGuire and the Wealth Management team. You'll be glad you did. South State Bank, member FDIC.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Dailies is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Dailies. Dailies is made fresh, it's made local, and Dailies is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday, protected by Morgan & Morgan.
You can actually win a side-by-side at Best Bet St. Augustine.
You know it. Only at Best Bet. The more you play, the more chances you have to win.
Poker, great food and drinks, and a chance to drive home in that side-by-side.
That's what all the buzz is about.
Play your favorite poker and table games at Best Bet St. Augustine for your chance to win an incredible side-by-side. Earn entries now through August 7th. Grand prize giveaway happens August 8th.
Now this just got serious.
Get in the action. Feel the excitement at Best Bet St. Augustine. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, Tom McManus here for the Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned First Coast business for nearly 20 years. Hurricane season is here, so don't wait for that first storm warning. Your fence is your first line of defense. Loose boards, weak posts, or damage can turn into big problems in those high winds. Armstrong Fence Company handles repairs and builds from stadiums to your own backyard. Get a pre-storm fence check today. Call Armstrong Fence Company or search online. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Looking for the perfect place to entertain clients or reward your employees this football season? River City Railway delivers a one-of-a-kind hospitality experience. Private, full-size rail cars with everything you need. AC, TVs, private bathrooms, outdoor entertaining areas, and reserved parking. All within walking distance to the stadium. Food and open bar included. Give your guests an experience they'll never forget. Visit rivercityrailway.com and reserve your rail car today.
Birthdays, anniversaries, and graduations happen year-round. That's why it's good to have Kuhn Flowers on hand to send that floral arrangement with a simple click, call, or showroom visit. This is JJ. Make Kuhn Flowers your go-to when you need to send your love.
Frank Frangie here for my friends at Coil Fencing. You've heard me talk about our Bregan baseball complex with walk-off charities, and we needed a batter's eye. Nobody knew how to do it. Coil figured it out, and it is great. Since then, Coil & Sons has completed hundreds of projects, including most recently our football fields at Fort Family Park. The bottom line is they do everything. They do it well. It looks great. I trust Coil & Sons. You can too. Since 1927, they've been getting it right. CoilJacks.com, C-O-Y-L-E, Jacks.com. That's where you find them. A proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
We were talking off the air. Tom's not as impressed with the 14,000
Well, we broke
pounds.
it down. We did break it down. What did it turn out to be?
117 players on the roster. If you're counting all 117, then you do all the division, then it ends up being like 30 pounds more of weight per person, per lift.
Per lift.
Yeah.
Was it per lift
Yeah.
too? Yeah. So in some it would be, but some no.
Yeah, basically 14,000 divided by 117.
Yeah, then divided by
4. Yeah. So 30 pounds. But either way, if you get
and that's an average. So some may be like 50 and some may be 20. 10.
The kickers. No offense, Josh. Don't call. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a lifter.
If you gave me 50-pound dumbbells to have to use during a workout versus the 20-pound ones that I have, I would be cooked. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But
But that's not
it's
exactly what they're doing.
Apples to apples.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about 18 to 24-year-old dudes that maybe they're not used to
why
lifting.
Does it have to be guys versus girls, Tom?
Guys are just a little bit stronger, man. It's just the way it is. I mean, especially in their prime, like 18. I mean, they're way, like that. Me to them, like they're like. I mean, I look at the guys today. I'm like, oh my gosh, they were just impressive
They're specimens because
they're
think
like
about
top of the food chain.
Think about all the information that they have that you didn't have. Whether it's the I call it a sports bra. It's not exactly a sports bra, but they have basically
but yeah.
I don't know if I'd wear it. But basically it's a monitor. They have a heart rate monitor. They have the ability to check their speed, obviously. They have all the nutrition, which is obvious. The cold tubs, all the different ways to recover. All that stuff. And then I would imagine that they probably don't have even a drop of alcohol at certain times, whether it's training camp or times during the season. They just know so much more now. No one's out smoking, I would imagine cigarettes. Other stuff.
Heater before lifting.
Because that's not going to help your cardio for obvious reasons as well.
Yeah, the knowledge of everything and the access to just like medicine in general, not like a medicine, but medicine as in just the technology of being able to heal things a little quicker and all of that. And I mean, we talk about that across leagues in general too. And that's been a big conversation in the NBA of like some of the players now and the way they score and some of the things they do and how long they play compared to maybe what you've seen previously. And everyone's like, well, of course, like at the world of technology and medicine is so much more advanced than it was in the 80s and 90s, and you have so much more access and information and easily accessible things. Like the things we've seen about them testing their sweat to see how much salt is in their sweat so they know how much water to Gatorade they drink. Like that's how precise it is now. That was
it's not just looking at the color of your urine anymore. It's
like, whoa, I need some water.
No, it's really clear. No, it's not, Tom. You're lying. You had a beard before practice. I didn't, I swear.
We've talked about the weather pretty much every day. Yeah. They have been in
Lucky.
a sweet spot.
Oh,
yeah.
my
As far as
gosh.
temperatures, they start early, but also it was overcast again for part of today. The sun did come out, but still, in comparison to what we've seen, the time of day and the temperature has been ideal for, I would say, August, July,
Big
late
time.
July / early August in Florida.
Yeah, especially the past couple of days hadn't been too hot.
No,
you know?
it's been lovely.
Yeah.
Even I was looking ahead. The next week, the high is 88. Like, that is not
That's
a
a
normal
dream.
August. Yeah.
And they've got the indoor. They've already used that 2 different times. And so, yeah, I feel like they've had it.
We were standing by,
Good.
me and Taylor were standing by the doors. They opened up. Were you there? And the AC's coming on. All I could think about was my dad screaming, "Shut the door!"
You're losing all the air conditioning.
I mean, a ton
They
of
don't
air
have to
was
worry
they
about
don't
that.
care.
No, it did feel. I was like,
They
wow,
can
it's
handle the
kind of
bill.
chilly out here. And I turned around. I was like, oh, it's the AC coming from indoors.
I did walk in after it was raining yesterday. Thankfully, I had a rain jacket, but then I walked into the indoor, and the air obviously is blasting in there. And I turned to Kai Stevens, and I was like, "It's cold," and she was like, "You Floridians." It
Yeah,
feels
right.
lovely
No
in there. I
doubt.
was like,
No
"Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense." All right, let's turn things over to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes Carline joins us now. Hayes, practice number 6 in the books, and a little bit of nervous moments, I'd say, when it comes to the injuries today.
Yeah, it wasn't good seeing Anton Harrison go down, but looked like he is okay. So that's good. I don't think it's anything to be worried about, but yeah, certainly. And then obviously the kid that they just signed, that looked like it was probably pretty severe. So, you hate to see that, even though it was probably a long shot that, he was going to make to the 53, but still just awful to see, because for a guy like that, that may be it. You just, they
never know.
may not get another chance, and hopefully it's not severe, but it looked like it had the potential to be that. But yeah, great day for the defense. We'll certainly break it all down. Coming up on the Frangie Show, I had a chance to catch up with Jacoby Myers after practice, so we'll play that.
Your guy.
So, my guy. I got lots of guys. This team,
That's true, too.
I got a lot of guys on
That's
this
true.
team. I mean, they've got something potentially pretty special. But yeah, I love Jacoby. He's been here. It feels like he's been here 3 years, but he's only been here like 9 months, really. But yeah, that receiving core, it's fun to watch. Today they got Jacoby said, we got punched in the mouth today. So definitely a good day for the defense, but we'll talk all about it coming up on the Frangie Show.
Are you still writing the Trayvon Walker book?
I am. We're on chapter 17, and it's
A lot of words.
It's juicy. Yeah.
That's
There's
juicy.
A lot of personal
Can't wait to read.
anecdotes in there that I think, fans will like,
Okay,
when the book comes out. But yeah, so it should be a lot of fun.
All right, thank you,
All right,
Hayes.
thank you.
It does feel like that's not one of those storylines that's coming around the league as far as Jacoby Myers actually having an off season with the Jaguars. Like,
Yeah,
here's a
right.
guy
Yeah.
that literally switched teams right
Yep.
after the Jags.
Well, because
played
he
the
played so
Raiders.
well already that
did.
I don't even think if he struggled when he got here, people
Right.
it'd probably be more of a storyline of wait until he has an off season with this coaching staff and with Liam
Yeah.
Cohen and Trevor Lawrence. But he played so well right away that everyone was like, oh, he's just a natural at it. So
That's a
good
true
for
pro.
Jacoby. Yeah,
That's
for
just
sure.
a
That's
professional. Says, I don't care where I'm playing, who I'm playing for. I'm coming to work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it right.
Before we go, I wanted to say some unfortunate news in the league in general, and familiar here with being a former Bulldog,
Yeah, I
but it
saw
does look like Jalen Walker, parent says, feared to have torn his ACL. Obviously, they drafted him last season, 5.5 sacks last year as a rookie.
Yep.
So that's a hit for the Falcons for sure. And I know a lot of people locally love that guy because he was a Bulldog.
Yeah.
If you're a Georgia fan,
Injuries suck.
They do. And Adam Schefter quote tweeted that report from Mark Raimondi, and it said, worst part of training camp. And I'm like, worst part of football in general
Yeah.
are those
These injuries.
season-ending injuries.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hate to see those. Hopefully that did not happen earlier today at Jaguars practice, but I'm sure we'll find out more information as the week goes on for Jared Bartlett, the linebacker that was carted off. But that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next.